بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا إلى يوم الدين أما بعد قال الله تعالى ولله الأسماء الحسنى فادعوه بها وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إن لله تعالى 99 اسما من حفظها دخل الجنة. Alhamdulillah, we've covered the first 16 names and their usages and practically how we can use them and what we can invoke them for. As we've been seeing, they can be invoked for something from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala related to the name. But we've also seen that they're also invoked for a reflection, personal introspection, and to get an understanding of something, that everything comes from Allah, so let's leave it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or we'll get some kind of strength for it, we'll put all reliance in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So these are the different practical usages. So we are on number 17, which is Ar Razzaq. Ar Razzaq comes from the concept of rizq, which refers to sustenance, provision. So Razzaq, as I said, whenever you see Razzaq in the same as Fa'al, it means somebody who does something frequently, abundantly, and in a big way. So it's an exaggerated, although with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is no exaggeration, it's a reality. So Ar Razzaq means the provider in other sense. So we can use this for spiritual growth, because I know the first thing that may have come into people's mind is, I want more income, I want more funds, so why don't we start with that? But something even more valuable than our funds and income is the spiritual growth. That's why that's probably number one. And rizq is a very vast term, it's a very expensive term. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us pious children, that's rizq. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us halal food and income, that's rizq. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can also give us piety. And that's a form of sustenance as well, because without piety, we're not sustained by piety, then what are we going to do? So that's why spiritual growth, when embarking on a journey to gain more knowledge about Islam, get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one may ask Allah, the provider, to grant them beneficial knowledge and sustenance for their soul. So let that knowledge be beneficial and not just something that adds to our data set. We just know more. Number 2, I'm going to go a bit faster today because we have less time. Job and professional life. When facing financial difficulties, here's the financial difficulty part. When facing financial difficulties in a business, one may invoke Ar Razzaq to bless their business with prosperity, to help them find solutions for financial stability. Likewise, it's not just for that, but it's for personal needs. If someone is experiencing difficulty in providing for their family, it's got nothing to, it's going to have something to do with your job, but it could be, you might be self-employed. You might be trying to do your own little, halal side hustle or something. And it's just providing difficult, it's just, I think Razzaq, Ya Razzaq, Ya Razzaq, Ya Razzaq is something that I think a lot of people need to be doing today, because a lot of people are struggling with the way inflation is going, the way things have become so much more expensive in the last 5 years. I don't know where things are going. This modern economical system does not work. The way it's trained to be, the way it's designed to be, is that your £1,000 from 2 years ago, what you could have bought 2 years ago with your £1,000 2 years ago in your bank, you couldn't buy that last year. And this year, it's worth even less than that. So it's designed to, if you save any money, it's actually designed to just, because of inflation and other things, it's designed to become more devalued. And everybody's stuck in that system. Pretty much everybody's stuck in that system. Except the few people who buy gold and crypto coin, Bitcoin and so on. Bitcoin is actually trying to go against that. Bitcoin is trying to stabilize that. I know it's had lots of fluctuation because of its initial, introduction in the market and so on. But otherwise, Bitcoin is a antithesis to that because it's limited. Governments can't produce, or nobody can produce more of Bitcoin except the limited amount that they have designed. Whereas governments can produce more money, there's more money in the market. Because there's more money in the market, people can buy more. So people have to produce more, and then the supply just increases and prices increase. So a lot of people are finding a lot of difficulty. Holding 2 jobs, there's people crying even with 2 jobs, husband and wife both working. And of course, some of it is to do with lifestyle decisions. Where they've chosen to live, what kind of furniture they've chosen to have, what kind of gadgets they think they need, what kind of holidays they have to take. So one has to be very careful of that. So personal needs, Ya Razzaq, we need Ya Razzaq. We need Ya Razzaq, Ya Razzaq. So may the Razzaq grant us the means to meet our family's needs. Because it's all in His hands ultimately. يَرْزُقُ مَنْ يَشَاءُ يَرْزُقُ مَنْ يَشَاءُ. He gives whomever He wishes. Gives sustenance to whomever He wishes. Multiple verses regarding that. Agricultural concerns. We're not farmers. But if you've got a nice garden, you like to grow things. MashaAllah, one brother visited me the other day. He lives not too far away. He's got 20 trees in his garden. He put up 20, not necessarily big trees, but 20 different fruit-bearing plants. And the apricots he gave me were amazing. Right. A lot of people, they just put either concrete it over, or what do? They put that fake stuff. You just completely destroy nature. It's like we don't want to do anything with the soil. We came from it, but we hate soil. The other day we were just pulling out some weeds, and I was telling my son this is beneficial to touch vegetation. It's actually beneficial. That's where we came from. It grounds us. One scholar, he visited me, said, I want to sit on the floor. He said, because I've been told by experts that this helps to ground yourself, rather than sitting on tables all the time. Sitting on chairs all the time. Sitting on the ground sounds primitive for some people. I've seen places where they've gone to visit a new madrasa. Oh, they're so advanced that they actually got all of their students sitting on tables. I'm not sure if that's advanced. If humans sat on the ground for centuries, now they start sitting on chairs, and nothing wrong with chairs or tables, but to sit on the floor is primitive. That's what your forefathers, for the whole of history, did that. For the whole of history did that, until very recently. So let us not demean these things. Right? So farmers can supplicate, or gardeners can use this name before planting season to ask Allah for good harvest and to bless crops. I was in Australia, and the brother was telling me there that a lot of Australia is farming, because most of Australia there's only like 7 major cities on the coasts, and the rest of it is empty land, and there's a lot of agriculture. They don't allow much to come in from outside, right? In fact, Western Australia, which is about 1/3 of the country, does not even allow fruit and vegetable to come from the rest of Australia. That's how strict they are with their flora fauna, right? Very preserved. Some of the best honey comes from there. So they said that these Australian farmers, non-Muslim, not necessarily Muslim, they have so much reliance on Allah, because it's a seasonal crop. They have to put everything, all of their investment in there, and then just hope it rains. And then hope it rains, and then no disease or pestilence takes over. This year in Gujarat, the mango, where some of the best mangoes come from, right? I don't want to debate about that, but just in our villages alone, there's about 30 mangoes, 30 different types, all taste different, okay? And they're supposed to be very good mango because of the way the ground is. But this year, there was only a 10% crop compared to last year. Tawakkal Allah. If Allah wills it, it happens. If it doesn't, imagine the amount of tawakkul you need as a farmer. You put everything in and you expect to make 20,000 and you only make 2,000. Or you only make, that's 10%. Literally, that's what they made this year. Last year, there were so many mangoes that nobody was willing to pick them up because it was more expensive to get them off than to sell them. They were so cheap, right? But this year, it's 10% of the crop. It's all from the Razzaq. He does as He wishes. We have to be literally focused on Allah for everything, and this is what it's teaching us. He's got a name for everything. Right, starting a new project, before commencing a new venture or project, one prays to the Razzaq to ensure that it is fruitful, beneficial, and it provides benefits. Seeking employment, that's just another version of what we said earlier. Somebody might not even have an employment, so they're looking for employment, they're struggling in that sense. Suitable job or occupation that meets their skill and needs. Sometimes that's difficult. People can't find jobs based on their skill set. And they find it below them to take another job on. And they wait and struggle. Because no, that's below my status. And in some places, you just can't find a job. In your vocation, there are so many professionals in those countries or communities, and they're all doing menial jobs because there's nobody to employ them. During times of famine, of course, in regions or times where food and resources are scarce, residents can supplicate, Ya Razzaq, to grant them sustenance, alleviate their hardship. Education, students can pray to Ar Razzaq to provide them with the means and resource to complete their studies, such as scholarships or conducive learning environments, and make that truly a source of rizq for them. People study sometimes because everybody else is doing something. They don't necessarily think what is the best that they're good at and what they should do. They do it at the bidding of somebody else or to follow someone else or because of a hype, and then it becomes a dead-end course for them, and then it becomes useless. And they don't enjoy it. And it's a 4-year, 5-year study sometimes. And it's all gone down the drain, and then they go into another field, if they're lucky. Otherwise they don't. And I would say that today, rather than just send everybody to university and college, there are other means. Unconventional, now they're becoming conventional, where you can do some other form of study and work together, go into some kind of work. Because university education does not necessarily guarantee you a job anymore when everybody's got one. You know, before less people went to university. So if you had a university degree, then it meant you stood out. Everybody's got a degree now. Everybody goes to university. So what? You just become part of everybody else. So if you are going to go, make sure you study something proper. Otherwise you're wasting your time. Allah khair. Allah allow us, Ya Razzaq, allow us to do the right thing, and then for that to become a source of rizq for us in every sense. Of course, health. If someone is dealing with health issues, they may invoke the name Ar Razzaq, asking for wellness and the provision of good health. Seems out of context, but yeah, rizq is good health. Ya Allah, rizq is good health. A good health is part of rizq as well. And gratitude for blessings. So just in case this is all about Ya Razzaq only when you're in need and somebody's thinking, no, I have more than enough. I don't need to call on Razzaq. He's already Razzaq for me. Yes, He is. But if we don't invoke Him and thank Him as Ya Razzaq, just, if you got enough, Alhamdulillah. Ya Razzaq. Ya Razzaq. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah Razzaq. All praise is to Razzaq. All praise for you. Laka alhamdu wa laka shukr. Ya Razzaq, laka alhamdu wa laka shukr. So even in times of abundance, one can use his name to show gratitude to Allah for all the provisions granted, recognize Him as the ultimate source of all sustenance. So Razzaq is for everyone. Ya Razzaq, He's for everyone. It's a very, very all-encompassing, because right from our infancy, in fact, before our infancy, He's the one who provided our mothers so that our stage in our embryo, when we were embryos, when we were fetus, we were still being sustained then. Same one who designed the womb in such a way that allows that birth and growth. That's Razzaq here.
With the Rayyan Courses subscription, you'll gain immediate access to over 250 hours of exclusive video lessons taught by experienced scholars. Sign up now at rayyancourses.com to continue your journey. Your next lesson is waiting.